Okay, for my 80/20 project, I created a Prezi that I will be presenting, actually I did present, to my seniors in American government class. Generally speaking, this is a traditional, sort of a linear lecture. And what I did is I took one of my existing PowerPoints and I imported it into Prezi. And as I would present, I would probably go through this information, give specific examples as I'm speaking. The students would have their notebooks. In my class, we have created what I call sketchbooks. And in those sketchbooks, they often are asked to answer specific questions that I give them. Sometimes they'll draw a diagram. Sometimes they'll do some other things. But what makes this different from how I normally present information in my class is that usually I'm very linear. It goes from here to here, chapter 1 to chapter 12, and we go right through it. But what I did with this particular PowerPoint, Prezi, is that I took the information and then I added some more things. For example, right here we have a cell phone poll, and on my PC in my classroom I click on it and it opens right up and it's great, but for some reason on my Mac I have to actually push a button. This has the kids using their cell phones to answer a specific question. Why do you think that the founders of the U.S. required 14 years of residence in the U.S. before being eligible to be president, is the question here. As the kids text their response, they show up here in real time. I get immediate feedback as to what they're thinking, and they then are also participating in what's going on here. So let me get back to my Prezi, and we would discuss those results. So as we're going through, I would be talking about some of this information. And of course, as you can see here, I have embedded some videos. This one is about some of the early presidents. We'll continue on, and I have a few more, and they're short, meant to go a little bit more in depth as to some of the topics. And then at the end of each of the sections, in this case, this is one that does an entire chapter, so there's actually 3 sections. I have them in groups talking about, well, after looking at what the president does, what are the constitutional responsibilities? Now, using your interpersonal skills, you'll work with in groups of 3, and we actually have some set up groups already, so I would have them get into their groups. But they would answer the questions, and for this one they would create a job description, and I give them some things that I'd like to see there. Then again, this is not all going to be in one day, and that's what the joy of this assignment was, is the Prezi give me kind of the structure to go through each of the different things that we learn. The Electoral College is something that's always difficult for them, so I actually found a pretty good video through TED Talks on YouTube, and it kind of goes through really what is the Electoral College. I'll leave the link to the Prezi if you guys are really interested in this, and you can come back and check it out later. So we summarize for them, and then have some graphics, of course. I strategically chose some pictures that would help make things a little bit more clear. This is just a pair share, kind of turn to your neighbor and talk about some of these problems. And I gave them a few seeds, and I want to kind of see if they grasp why some people maybe don't like the Electoral College. And this will then lead to a group-wide, class-wide discussion about the Electoral College. Moving on to the last section, talks about the cabinet of the president. And kind of goes through what they have to consider, things like that. So what I'm really hoping that my students kind of understand is really what this is about, because then they're going to apply it. I have another short video. White House does a fantastic job with some different aspects of what's going on in the Obama administration, and they have a short video on the cabinet, and it shows a cabinet meeting and kind of what they do there. There's some final things here, but what this culminates in then is their final project. Who is your perfect president? And in their assigned groups, they're going to, and I would hand them this paper. This is just to show it so we can talk about my expectations and what I need them to do. And this is just picking a perfect president. And they go through and answer some questions, and then we'll talk about who they came up with, etc. And then I have a little bit more information, but then our final project is them actually creating their own videos. And here's an example of one that just was turned in this week. And so the final culminating assignment is they're going to take the information that they have learned through this unit, and they're actually going to try to get a president elected. And they'll be creating their own campaign commercials. And again, it's the hands-on, it's the doing, and I hope that I know that they got a lot out of it, and will continue on this brain-based learning, multiple intelligences, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.